Hey, honey,
Yes, Barry?
let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Fascina el viento, este ritmo de palmas, sin ti naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.
Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I'm your host, Barry Kessler. I'm just so happy to be introducing you to my favorite vacation destination. Maybe it's even yours, and that's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. That music you're listening to is performed by Alberto Perez, and Alberto is the owner of the Lapa Lapa group of restaurants here. Those are the Lapa Lapa, Puerto Vallarta's oldest restaurant on the famous Los Muertos Beach, and the El Dorado Restaurant and Beach Club right next door, so you can enjoy that fantastic view of the Los Muertos Pier, all lit up at night, beautiful colors, or during the day in its grand splendor for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, seated with your toes in the sand right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. This week we're going to go to a little neighborhood bar in the Emiliano Zapata neighborhood of Puerto Vallarta. It's run by a Southern California guy. He's a Valley boy. He grew up right down the street from me, actually, in the San Fernando Valley in California. He is a gringo named Larry Voigt, and his bar and restaurant, his bar and cantina, I guess you would call it, is the Gringo Loco, which is the crazy gringo, of course. I have an interview with him, as well as a gentleman named Carlos Costello. He's from the Board of Tourism down in Puerto Vallarta, and he works at one of these booths that they have all over town. Census of Mexico is the program, and Carlos has got some great food suggestions, as well as he'll talk a little bit about that program, so we'll find out what the hell that's all about. But before we find out what Carlos and Larry are up to, let's see what's happening this week in Puerto Vallarta, the 28th of July, 2020. The governor of Jalisco is getting ready to push that panic button, to push the button to close things up again, just as tourism returns to paradise. We have this from Vallarta Independiente Online. Although the indicators did not reach the established limit, the governor said that this week we will evaluate the route to follow, and I will keep you informed of any decision that is made. Given the fact that COVID-19 cases continue to increase due to the continued mobility of people, Governor Enrique Alfaro indicated that he will determine this week whether to implement the emergency button, which is to stop for 14 days. In everyone's hands is the responsibility to avoid the emergency button, to responsibly follow the path of economic recovery. But if we continue at this rate, we will have no choice but to stop completely for 14 days, he said. He pointed out that regarding the risk indicators of this week, yes, our hospital capacity remains stable. The incidence of cases continues to rise and is about to reach 400 per million inhabitants, which is one of the indicators that you start to set the start button. Now, when he says a million inhabitants, that is not true. It's 400 per 100,000, I think, is what this translates to. The life and health of people will always be the priority. Therefore, this week we will evaluate the route to follow, and I'll keep you informed of any decision that's made, he said. And you can read this all yourself if you want to. There is a link to it in the show notes. And again, that is from Vallarta Independiente. And, the numbers will go up because they are actually giving free COVID-19 tests to anybody who wants one, if they're sick or not, actually right now in Puerto Vallarta. So we are bound to see those numbers rise. So we'll see what the governor has planned for this week. We'll just keep an eye on those hospitalizations. I think that's the key. I don't think he really wants to close things down. I really don't. I see a Facebook post here from Ocean Live Love Grill. We know the Ocean Grill, beautiful, beautiful location over on Colomitos Bay, just south of Puerto Vallarta. And they are getting ready to reopen. They're going to reopen this October. I'll read from this Facebook post. We have some big news. Finally have reopening date. We're ready to welcome you on October 1st, 2020, following all the sanitary and social distancing guidelines to keep everybody safe. Reservations are available through our website at www.oceanlivelovegrill.com/reservations. Take your time, as we only will be working at 50% of our capacity. Very good. And so that is great news. Way to go, Ernesto. We love Ernesto Paulson, and we love the Ocean Live Love Grill. I can't wait to get back there. The Vallarta Food Bank has an update for everybody. Their new facility is almost ready. And what do you know? Our buddy Anastasio, the artist on the Malecon, I've interviewed Anastasio way back, but he painted a beautiful mural on the outside of the Vallarta Food Bank, that brand new building. Let me read the post from Vallarta Food Bank. We want to give a big shout out to Tolentino Vargas Anastasio, better known as Tacho, for lending us his artistic skill to paint a beautiful mural on our wall at the new facility. He's also offered to paint our logo on the wall starting Monday. Tacho normally sells his paintings on the Malecon near the Quale Bridge. However, since the start of the pandemic, he has not been allowed to do that or open the gallery that displays his work. Times are hard for many local artisans, and we told him that we couldn't afford to pay him for a mural. When he asked if we wanted one, he said that he'd do it for us, no problem, for all the help that we have given to Vallarta. Our hearts did a flip. The reason I'm writing this is we passed a hat around yesterday while he was painting to gather up a little bit of tip money, and I want to pass the hat around on Facebook and see if any of you guys want to drop a little bread into this man's jar. He'll be out there painting on Monday around 10 in the morning, so feel free to drop by, grab a photo, and leave him a tip. We also wanted to publicly thank him for his work making our permanent location more beautiful. We are really grateful to all the folks who have contributed to this wonderful facility. We continue to build and improve with your support. Everything helps us. Everything makes it just a little nicer. If you're interested in helping us out, even in a different way, like Tacho. I call him Nacho. They call him Tacho. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, check out the volunteer tab on your website. And that's right. Go right to www.vallartafoodbank.com and make a donation. I got pictures in the show notes. And make sure that you don't forget to look for Anastasio. Anastasio, he sets up over on the Malecon. His canvases are all set up. They're on the north side of the Quale Bridge, right across from Big Toes Tacos and, Pinocchio Pizza there. That whole area there. There's like an area where there used to be a ship mast that used to be standing up, and now it's kind of laying down on the ground. You know what I'm talking about. Well, that's where you're going to find Tacho, Nacho, Anastasio. That's where you're going to find Anastasio, okay? So anyway, don't forget the Vallarta Food Bank, please. And interesting, speaking of artists, here is something to look for next time you return to Paradise. There's going to be a mural inside the small tunnel. This is from the Banderas News, lifted from portovallarta.gov.mx. And it reads, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, after 3 weeks of meticulous work, local artist Elodia Jimenez has completed a colorful mural on the interior wall of the small tunnel that leads from the Libramiento into Emiliano Zapata neighborhood. The 210 square meters painting features fruits that are native to the region. The idea of this mural is to give importance to the natural wealth that exists in Puerto Vallarta and do work with the iconography of coconut oil, bananas, and flora that is related to the history of our city, explained the self-taught artist who began her training in the workshop of the Quale Cultural Center. With the unveiling of the Elodia Jimenez mural, the artistic intervention project within what's popularly known as the Small Tunnel has been completed in both directions as part of the large format Art in Public Spaces program promoted by the municipal government through the Vallarta Institute of Culture. At the Vallarta Institute of Culture, we think it's very important to rescue these spaces and transform them into large canvases. The director, Marina de los Santos Alvarez, said, "Urban art is increasingly present in large cities, conquering people from various sectors and social classes, uniting people and giving them a sense of belonging to society while democratizing art and humanizing public spaces," she added. She explained that last February, Veracruz artist Lucia Prudencio intervened in the opposite direction of the tunnel with a bicolor floral mural. What we did in these two directions of the small tunnel is to reflect what Puerto Vallarta is, its colors, its flavors with flowers and fruits, entirely from the region, said De Los Santos. The constant flow of vehicles through this tunnel forced the artist to work during the early morning hours. In order to facilitate her work, the support of other municipal agencies was essential, such as the Directorates of Citizen Security, Public Services and Maintenance of Assets and Administration, as well as the Subdirectorate of Roads and the heads of the Market and Public Lighting Departments. The proposal of the Vallarta Institute of Culture to give life to a space that can be very dark. "I really liked it," said the artist. "We saw people passing by when the tunnel was closed, and they appreciated that it was changing, and we were so excited to see it finished. Adding color to this space and making the mural completely change the feeling of the neighborhood." The next project will be carried out in coordination with local artists and the urban farms owners of Puerto Vallarta Union. It will focus on an artistic intervention at the entrance of Abasolo, one of the streets that leads up to the Cerro de la Cruz, that nice viewpoint, the cross at the city center. And there is a link with a few pictures as well of that very, very nice mural. What is happening? What's happening in Nayarit, over in Nuevo Vallarta? Well, the beaches are still closed. They are all wearing face coverings, just like they are in Puerto Vallarta, I should say outdoors and in different public transportation and so on and so forth. The bars and the restaurants are open, but they're instructed to close at 10 in the evenings. And right now, the border is open between Nuevo and Viejo Vallarta, between Jalisco and Nayarit. I got an email from listener Cheryl. Cheryl says, "What are you talking about? You've never been on Rhythms of the Night?" she asks. She says, "Jim and I have been 4 times over the last 4 years with different groups of friends. It is an incredible experience. Wonderful large boat ride where you see Puerto Vallarta from the outside in, which is so beautiful. Cocktails on the boat and some appetizers. Same on the return trip, plus entertainment on the boat. Fun, fun, fun. Well organized upon arrival, and you either see the fabulous show first and then dine in candlelight or vice versa. There are 4,000 candles lit every night. It's very romantic. The food is great. The service couldn't be better. And even though it is an expensive event, you will feel that it is money well spent. Plenty of restrooms, lots of walking, some hilly, not for some people who have difficulties with mobility. We live in Puerto Vallarta for 7 months out of the year, and this is the only touristy thing that we do. I never met anyone who didn't enjoy it and feel that they got their money's worth. And I'm not getting paid for my comments," she says. "Stay calm and keep podcasting." Thank you, Cheryl. All right. Well, thank you very much. I guess I got to get my rear end over to the Rhythms of the Night and spend some ducats, I guess. Well, I'm cheap. I'm sorry about that, you guys. Now, I want to take a little bit of time. I want to thank Hillary and Zoe so much for coming on that show in our last episode. It really gave me a lot of faith and a lot of hope to see that businesses are doing, they're starting to open up, and to see that they can actually step up and protect people and make it a safe experience for people that are visiting Puerto Vallarta in times like these. Now, I don't want to recommend, and I'm going to say this now, I don't want to get in any trouble. I don't want to, this is a hot topic for a lot of people, so I'm not going there. This is a global pandemic. We're learning more and more about it every day. We're learning about age and comorbidities and proper protective measures, understanding risks, and so forth. So don't get me wrong, this is a deadly disease. Remember that travelers should always have travel insurance if they are going to go to Puerto Vallarta, or if they're going anywhere, but especially to Mexico. And you can be protected. You can actually buy COVID traveler's insurance if you wanted to. I know that there's a couple of companies that are doing it. Brett Lamar over at Novamar is doing it. And I know Mr. Trejo over at Guardian Insurance, Mexico, they do it as well. So if you can also buy the travel insurance without the COVID coverage as well. So if you are going to go travel and you don't want to get COVID coverage, you can go without getting COVID coverage. Now, speaking of last episode, I listened to it, and I realized that even though I had edited it, and when I listen to it, when I edit it, sometimes I'm not listening too close. And Zoe was talking about the orphanage that her daughters, that she and Hillary and her daughters, they bought clothing and they bought shoes for them all, and took them all over to Rise. And I had misunderstood, and I wasn't listening maybe, and I had heard them say Corazon de Niña. So I'm really, really sorry. I'm sorry I mixed that up. Rise is another orphanage that we love dearly, Refugio Infantil Santa Esperanza, and it is in just above the Emiliano Zapata neighborhood. So yeah, sorry about mixing that up. I love and we love both of those places, don't we? Now, as if the pandemic isn't enough, look over there. It's dengue. Yes, again. From Vallarta Independiente, this gem, Vallarta continues in the top 10 of municipalities with more dengue in Jalisco. With 42 infections, Puerto Vallarta continues the first 10 municipalities with the most cases at the end of the 29th epidemic week. Jalisco is first in the nation. Okay, Puerto Vallarta saw changes in its position in the ranking of the municipalities with the most cases of dengue in Jalisco. It is 8th place with 42 infections, 2 more compared to last week, according to figures from Jalisco Health Secretariat. In the first place on this list is the municipality of Zocotepec with 182 cases, followed by Tlaquepaque with 129, then Zapotetic with 71, Ataclan de Juarez and Zócalo de Torres with 58, San Gabriel with 57, Ponchetlan with 55, and Puerto Vallarta with 42. Regarding the 8th sanitary region, there were 89 cases, 42 in Puerto Vallarta, 7 in Cabo Corrientes, and 35 in Tomatlan. San Sebastián del Oeste, Mascota, and Talpa de Allende did not present any dengue cases yet. At the national level, Jalisco remains in first place in confirmed cases with 1,203, more than double that in the same period as in 2019. How about that? And quite far from Veracruz, which is in second place. So far, only 1 death from dengue has been confirmed in the state, so that's good news, although there are several cases still under study. So, you know what? Make sure that you protect yourself from the dengue. The dengue-carrying mosquito is available to bite you during the day. So lather up with some of that stuff and don't get the dengue fever. Now, time is ticking, and it is a race to see if Governor Alfaro of Jalisco is going to push that panic button before I go on my trip. And if he does do that, I do plan to postpone my trip for 2 weeks because, let's face it, if I can't leave my condo to interview people, really, there's no reason for me to even be there, right? Just to be blunt about it. And by the way, I need to let you in on a little bit of a secret. I was offered a chance to stay in one of the nicest places I have ever stayed in Puerto Vallarta. Actually, probably one of the nicest places I've ever stayed in my life. Anyway, at least online, I haven't been there yet, but listener Skip, one of the friends of Rodolfo, the blind tenor on the Malecon. Actually, you heard Skip if you were listening to the blind tenor episode. I had Skip on there talking about Rodolfo. And anyway, Skip has a condo. It's in Tower 1 over at Molina de Agua, and it is it's just a little tight, about 3,678 square feet, 3 bedrooms, bunch of bathrooms, wraparound terrace. In fact, the whole 4th floor, right on the water, and right on the river. What a great place! I mean, you got to see this. If you go to my show notes. Actually, if you go to my show notes, if you go to my website, www.puertovallartatravelshow.com, I actually made a new page. There's a new tab at the top. It's called Puerto Vallarta Condo Rentals. And if you click on that page, you're going to find Skip's place. And if you want to rent it, when you see this place, you're going to really want to rent it. If you got a family, you're going to really like this place. I will be blogging from there for sure, so stay tuned for pictures, and I'll be reporting back from Skip's place. And by the way, if any of you listeners out there would like to see your condo in Vallarta, if you've got a nice condo, you got a place there that you rent out, let me know. Send me the information about it. And if I think it meets the standards of you listeners, then I will add it to the page. Now remember, I'm looking out for you guys. I'm looking out for the listeners. So anyway, send them, and I'll add them, right? So thank you, Skip. Thank you so much. I can't wait to get back to paradise. All right. Let's keep our fingers crossed for that. But let's get to the interview, shall we? Now, the first interview is a young man. His name is Carlos Costello. And Carlos works for the Vallarta Board of Tourism. They have these booths all over town saying Census of Mexico. Have you seen them? Well, if you haven't, they're like these little booths they set up there, and they want to get your attention as you walk by. So I thought that I would see what they were selling. Seemed interesting, so I put a microphone on Carlos's face, and I wonder if I could still do that. I'm going to have to get a long stick, I think, for this next trip. Let's see. I will have to look into that. Anyway, let's see what Carlos has to say about Census of Mexico, about this program. From the Malecon, let's go now to Carlos Costello. Census of Mexico, Puerto Vallarta. Carlos, thanks for talking with me today.
Thank you so much.
Tell us, where are you from?
Well, I'm originally from Sonora, but I've been living here in Vallarta for the last 5 years.
Very good. And tell us where you work.
I work for the Tourism Bureau of Puerto Vallarta and the City Hall in here, and the information booths here over the Malecon.
Okay, excellent. Now, there's this thing that I've been seeing that you guys are I don't want to say pushing, that you guys are promoting, and it's called Census of Mexico. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's correct. Census of Mexico is a new campaign sponsored by the government. And this campaign actually invites the people or tourists, especially from United States and Canada, to come back to visit Puerto Vallarta and make it their favorite destination to come, especially during the winter. So this program focuses in affiliate businesses that are from owners from here in Vallarta, family owns from here from Puerto Vallarta. So because this will boost up the economy for us in here. That is pretty much about it. And also what we're trying to do by having this new program is to feel the tourists to experience the real sensation of being here in Mexico, especially in Vallarta, because we don't want you to go to all these big chain hotels or to these big chains restaurants, I don't want to say brands or anything, but you know what I'm trying to say, right?
Sure. So okay. So tell us, what would that be like? I mean, what is this tour like?
The story is, it begins because the actually creator of this business, she is maybe we should encourage people to get out of the all-inclusive hotels, to get out of the very touristic places that took over of the tourism. Why don't the tourist that is coming here? Because instead, what you want is to make all these people to experience Vallarta. Go to this local place, go to this local massage spa place, or go to visit this agency. And why don't you just take this tour? Then you're gonna take probably a boat, a little boat, so you get to experience a local experience, us as Mexicans do.
All right. So, in order to enjoy this, tell us a little bit about the experience. What will it cost, and what kind of time will it take for somebody to experience one of these senses of Mexico?
First of all, Census of Mexico is focuses on three things. We focus on adventure, culture, and wellness. So we discover what you're focusing in it, and then we we orientate you, address you to the things that you like. And for example, by getting this card of Census of Mexico, it doesn't have a really an expiration, and you can take advantage of all the benefits that it offers. Like I say, we had over 60, 70 business affiliated, and we keep growing. So you're going to have a lot of places to visit, a lot of opportunities, and keep it local and experience the real Vallarta.
Excellent. All right. Okay, well, very good. Now, you're going to have all that information. It's going to be in the show notes. I'm going to have a printout of their brochure so you can see what that looks like. And that this is actually a pretty good idea, getting the locals involved and local businesses involved. I love it. All right, let's leave the Malecon here and Census of Mexico just for a second. Let's go out into the town. My listeners, they like to hear about great places to eat, and I like to ask people who live here what their favorite places are. So let's talk about your favorite breakfast, lunch, and dinner places. What's your favorite place to have breakfast?
My favorite place to have breakfast, I would totally say Coco's Kitchen, and there's another one that is called Freddy's Tucans. They had the best chilaquile ever, and the scrambled eggs and all that. I really love the places, and plus they have really good mimosas.
Of course, you can't forget the mimosas. I like you, Carlos. That's all right. Good for you, brother. All right, so how about lunch? What's your favorite lunch spot?
Oh, I really love this place called La Mara. It's a really good seafood, but it's really fresh because everything that you order, they made it in front of you because they don't have anything frozen. For example, if he has a basil or onion or cucumber, they cut it in front of you and they put the shrimp, the octopus, the fishes right away, and it is really fresh. It's amazing, and it has really good combinations. It's very different, but it's very tasty. If you get the chance, I will recommend it to go.
Excellent. All right. You're coming to Puerto Vallarta, you got to get seafood. That's what it's all about. And making it in front of you, that's pretty cool. How about dinner? What's your favorite dinner spot?
Dinner is this place called Sonorita al Sur, which means Sonorita from the south. It is basically a really good meat. They have a pastor meat and just grounded meat, pork, and all those things. And they have quesadillas, which is a flour tortilla or corn tortilla flipped with cheese. And they have something like a fondue. They had this quesadilla, which is made of a flour tortilla, which is flipped, and it has cheese in it. And you can choose the meat of your preference, either a pork or turkey or just regular beef and stuff like that. It's really good. And they have a mushroom dip, and they have really good cocktails there.
Wow, that sounds good. Where is that place?
That place is located in Olas Altas. It's in front of this popular condo building that is called The Park. It's in Colonia Emiliano Zapata. It's just across the street from the new park, Lázaro Cárdenas, but now they're calling it the Mirror Glass because they're not decorating it. Because it's really interesting what they're doing right now because all the business that are around it, they're paying for a bench, and an artist, a local artist, is decorating it by the branding of their business.
It's beautiful there. It's Parque de los Azulejos, right?
Yes.
All right, so those are all great suggestions. You got any little hole-in-the-wall fonda places that around town that you like?
There's this one called Maria's. that is called in the same in Emiliano Zapata. It is very close to the bars. But I also will recommend this one called La Chorreada that is like very close to where we are right now, very close to my office. It's in the other street called Benito. And it's right behind Senor Frogs. And you have the choice like to get like like the entrance, which will be like a soup and nachos and salsa, and then you get like the main dish, and you get like a little like dessert, which is very popular for us Mexicans to get like flan or arroz con leche, which means rice with milk. It's really good because it has like a little flavor of cinnamon in it, and you can get all those things for like starting from 60 to 90 pesos.
Wow, what a great deal. And what's it called again?
La Chorreada.
La Chorreada. Okay, all right. I walked past that place today. Very cool. If you were going to leave town for a day and come back, where would you go?
I have two choices. I will say either Sayulita or Jalapa. For me, those are like a day trip. You don't need no more than 10 hours to do that. And it's really close. Both places are around 40 minutes away. One is in the south and one is in the north.
Excellent. Okay, how about if you had 3 days? Where would you go, Carlos?
If I got to go for 3 days, I can say San Sebastian or Mazamitla. Because, for example, San Sebastian, it takes you almost 2 hours to get there. And it has like a little cottages and it has like a little restaurants that are really nice. And you can explore it around. Like, for example, for me that I live here, sometimes I think like a dessert and I want like a little getaway. In the other hand, Mazamitla is a little further. And that is like 4 hours away. And it's like cabins on the woods. It's nice because you can rent them and you do like a fireplace. There's zip linings. You can do the hiking or horseback riding. Yeah, you can do different stuff there. And for 3 days, that's fine.
Where's Mazamitla?
Mazamitla is located south, and you have to take the Highway 200 on your way to Guadalajara.
Okay. So it's in Jalisco. It's how many hours away?
It's around 4 hours.
Okay, so that's a little bit more of a trip, but sounds very interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting. I've been there. I like it, and I'm planning to come back.
Excellent. If you had a word of advice to a first-time visitor to Puerto Vallarta, what would it be?
I will recommend to walk all over the town until you get tired because that's the only way that you can discover the traditional and authenticity of Vallarta.
Good answer to that question. Is there anything I'm missing? Tell us how people can participate in this Census of Mexico.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad to say that. You know, for example, like we want people, like I said, the tourists, to experience the local experience, and what a main thing is to make them to come back to Puerto Vallarta, right? Because once that they're gone, what we're doing by giving you this census membership, like census card, is like so you can take Vallarta with you because it's also an online magazine, so you can be checking what is happening in Vallarta while you're gone, and you can check in advance what is going to be happening when you come back. So you know all that already in advance, and we can help you because we do have an online concierge that is going to be helping you with any reservation or doubts you might have.
Look at that. You see, these guys are trying to be the Puerto Vallarta travel show. I love that. Carlos, you guys are doing a great job. What other kinds of things do you guys do over at the Municipal Tourism Board?
We're here to help any tourist that is here, any local. For example, if someone is looking for a recommendation, we gladly help them. If someone is in trouble, we address them to the office that they have to go. We're just like here to help any tourists that have any question or recommendation.
And where will people be able to find you if they need that kind of help?
They will find me here in the Tourism Bureau Puerto Vallarta. All along the bay, we have several of those. We have one in Olas Altas, one in Parque de los Azulejos, one in the Lighthouse, which is the one that we're right now. We had another one that is in front of the La Dolce Vita restaurant, the Italian one. There's a popular one. We also have another one that is in front of Diamond International, the jewelry. And then we have another one in Playa Camarones, La Isla. We every time that we had a lot of cruises, we go to the port and we help like people to tell them what to do because they only have a few hours. So they pretty much know what they want to do. But what it would be better if they had someone that lives here and say, okay, this is the fastest way to do it. You want to go this, you want to do that. Yeah, and we're going to be open the airport and gallerias as well.
Excellent. Okay. Well, I'll have all your information. I'll have Carlos's picture, his smiling face in the show notes. And you can go check that out, of course, at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. And Carlos, thanks for getting on the show and talking with us today.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you so much for coming here.
All right. I have a link to Census of Mexico. I've got the link to there. Go ahead and check it out if you have any interest. I am not pushing the program. I am just suggesting that if you have any interest, please take a look to it. Go to www.puertovallartatravelshow.com and click on the handy-dandy link. And once again, Carlos, thanks, man. Thanks for talking with us. Now, the next guest we have is up in the Emiliano Zapata neighborhood. His name is Larry Voigt. Larry is a loco gringo. He has a restaurant, cantina, called the Gringo Loco Cantina, and it's on Francisco Madero and Aguacate. It's a couple blocks up into town, so you do have to walk up a little ways. You walk in, and the bar is right in front of you. It's got comfortable stools with nice backs on them that actually say Gringo Loco. And then astride the bar is a covered eating area and drinking area. Tables of 4, which you can easily put together to make tables of whatever you need. Then there is there's a stage. A small stage, not a big thing. And then there is the kitchen, there's the bathroom area, and then there's a nice little outdoor feely area with no roof. So it feels outdoors-ish, which is right inside of this building. It's very interesting. There's a bookshelf that's stocked with reading material for anybody who decides to do more than just have a drink and have a chat or a bite to eat. So it's got also a bit of a sports bar feel. It's got big screen TVs, but it's a nice, friendly, cool place. It's economical, if I might say, and I think Larry's going to allude to that as we get into this talk, into this conversation. But yeah, I mean, if JR drinks there, it's got to be economical, right? Say no more. So anyway, JR actually introduced me to Larry, and I'm really glad he did. So I recorded this back in October, guys. So this was about the time when there was a lot of flooding. I don't know if you remember that or not, but that's when we recorded this. So he's going to be telling me that story in case you get confused, that this was actually from last October. It's not right now. So let's go now. Let's go right now and meet the Valley Boy who ventured south of the border, never looked back, the guy who put Gringo in the Gringo Loco. His name is Larry Voigt. He is the owner of Gringo Loco Cantina, Puerto Vallarta, Jalisco, Mexico. All right. Larry, thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, you're welcome. Glad to be here.
Tell me about yourself. Where are you from? And what was your path to Puerto Vallarta?
Well, I started out growing up in Los Angeles, down in the Valley in California, and moved up to the Bay Area, and eventually just said that's enough. And I've been coming down to Puerto Vallarta for quite a few years, and finally said, well, I'm just going to move down and start trying to relax a little bit, enjoy life.
Okay. You're relaxing by like working. It looks like we're in your restaurant bar here. It's Gringo Loco. How long has Gringo Loco been here?
11 years.
Okay, so during the whole 11 years you've been running it?
Yes. Okay. I'm semi-retired, but growing up in LA, you never really give up on it.
No, and as well you shouldn't. That's not right. You're way too young to be retired. I'm looking at you. You got to be like 15. He's like this surfer guy, you have to look at him. You walk into his bar and you go, what? Boy, there's a surfer guy behind the bar. I like that. Tell us about Gringo Loco.
Oh, Gringo Loco was kind of a forethought that I've been coming down for so many years to Vallarta, and everybody was the locals were so friendly, and offer me their house to stay in if I ever didn't have a place, and I wanted to be able to give back. And I wanted a local place that everybody could come to. Prices were reasonable, and we had music. We had a little of this, a little of that. So we do. We get a lot of Mexican locals. We get locals that are from Europe that live here, and like myself, people from the States and Canada.
Yeah.
So
Nice. All right. So you say you have entertainment. You want to talk about that?
we have 3 bands a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And it starts out with kind of a rock and roll mix band, and then on Thursday is more of just classics. They play everything you could imagine. It's more not the top 30 that everybody plays. They play things that you go, wow, I haven't heard that in years. You like it, but you just, that's right, nobody's played it. And then Saturday is good old rock and roll. And they play a little bit of Spanish and then a lot in English.
Oh, cool.
So,
and what are the times that your entertainment happens? What time do the
usually 7 to 10 on Tuesday, and then Thursday is 8 to 11. They're a little bit later, and then Saturday night is back to 7 to 10.
Yeah.
So we're not a late night. If you want late night, you have to go to the Malecon, but we kind of get you started.
Okay, good. What about your menu? Do you serve dinner too? You serve? I know you serve breakfast because I had breakfast a couple days ago here.
Yes, we just went to our full schedule now, and it's chef will be here from 10 until 9 at night. So
Okay.
you can have breakfast, lunch, or dinner anytime.
And tell us about your menu. What's on that menu?
Oh, everything from the breakfast. You can have chilaquiles, which is a Mexican style. You can have pancakes. As far as lunch, you can have BLT. You can have a burger. If you want dinner, you can have lasagna, fajitas, full menu. And my chef is trained here in Mexico and also lived in the States for 13 years. So he cooks basically everything. If we've got the ingredients and you ask for it, he does it.
All right. That's the kind of chef that you want.
Yeah.
Now, I was looking at your activity board there. Do you teach Spanish?
I don't, but we do have a man that comes in, and he should be coming back probably in about 2 to 3 weeks, and he's here usually twice a week, and he'll teach Spanish if you need it.
Really?
So, yeah. Matter
So-
of fact, his son is one of the singers on one of the bands.
Well, how cool is that? All right. So, during when high season starts, if you want to learn some Spanish, you can come and do that here.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he used to do it for tips, and I don't know if he charges now, but I mean, if he did, it's like 100 pesos, so that's $5
Yeah,
U.S.
exactly.
That gives you an idea. It's
Yeah.
not much.
No. Try to get Spanish lessons.
Yep.
That cheap wherever you come from. Forget it.
Exactly.
Let's go outside of Gringo Loco for just a little while, just for a minute, and let's talk about Vallarta. You've been coming here for some time. How many years? How many years do you think you've been coming down here?
I hate to say because that's going to date me here, but I've been coming down here about 40 years.
Yeah.
And I'm still 15, though, as you said.
I know, you do. Yeah. It's like, really? Come on, he's 12.
It's that L.A. living. What can I say?
That's what it is. There's been a lot of changes around. You get a little bit depressed when an old building goes down and a new one comes up around here?
I do. They're taking a lot of the old world charm out, but there still is a lot here. My building here, I try to keep the look of old world. Things that I'm doing, even to the front of the bar, try to keep it look like Old Town.
Yeah.
Colors and things like that. But there are some things that are giving us a little bit of a Miami look, which they're not overpowering, but it's just enough where it's, for the amount of years I've been coming, it's like, oh, another one.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I kind
So-
of get the same feeling sometimes.
But you still have the same people here, and you still get that same charm, and that's really what brought me here were the people.
Right.
So
Yeah, and you can't stop progress. Things are going to happen.
Yep.
You can't stop people from selling their property if they get a good offer.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, Got to think about that. I mean, those are people that have been waiting to cash in probably for a long time.
Now they're cashing in, going up to California.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably.
Right. Yeah.
We're just trading places.
Wow, I didn't think about that, but now I feel better.
Well, you're selling real estate, so
Yeah, well, I'll be looking for them.
yeah.
If you had a word of advice to a first-time visitor that was coming to Puerto Vallarta, what would you tell that person?
If you're coming for vacation, just sit back and enjoy. If you're not, and you're wanting to live here, just leave the old world up there. Come in and embrace what's here. Don't try to bring your expectations. I can't talk today. Expectations down here with you from the north. Then you're just going to be hitting your head against the wall, and you're not going to enjoy it.
Right.
So embrace what's here, and that's what brought you here, and enjoy it. Like I said, we saw some progress in town, but there's still the old world. I mean, there's a lot of people. I walk down the street, and I won't go more than 2 blocks, and I'll run into somebody that'll, say, hi, Larry, or hey, Gringo Loco, Yeah. I get that across the beach all the time. I'm not sure who it is. I just wave. But you get recognized, and they remember you.
Yeah.
That's what brought me down the first time is I was on the beach, and there was a vendor there. 6 months later, I had come back, and he says, I asked about something he was selling, and he said, you looked at that, about 6 months ago? My mouth dropped open. I was like, wow, I lived in L.A., and I didn't even know my neighbors 2 doors down for 20-some-odd years. But that's what it's about, and that's what we used to do when we used to be in L.A. We'd go down to Tijuana, we'd go down to Rosarito and Escondido, and just to get away.
Yeah.
And so this is totally, Mexico. There is some updating, but, that's progress everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing in one respect, but people are making more, so that's good for them. They're getting more of a middle class, and that's getting rid of that dominance that they had for so many years. But yeah, it's just come down and enjoy, and don't bring the problems. Leave them, and you'll just relax. It'll take you down so low that it'll just like, wow, this is cool.
It'll slow you down,
yeah.
Right? And that's good. And don't be in a rush. That's really a good point. If you were going to leave Vallarta for a day and come back, where would you go?
Wow, good question. I think some of my customers do more travel in inner Mexico than I do because I'm always busy.
But I'm just mean local. I mean, somewhere if you're just doing
local,
a day
you
trip.
could go down to Mismaloya. If you like to surf, like I used to years back, I'd go up to Sayulita. You can go up and rent a board and do some surfing there. Not huge waves, but
they're waves.
Yeah, they're waves. So
yeah, they don't break on the beach, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So those are a couple of them. And I just live right up the river. So, I mean, you have, within 5 minutes, you can go up to a little town up in the river and have lunch.
Yeah.
And relax and come back on the same bus. It only costs you 10 pesos, which is about 50 cents. So, I mean, it's very inexpensive to travel all around. And if you crave a hot dog from Costco, they've got them here. I mean, if that's what you're looking for. But you're here for the ambiance. So, but everything is here available, and you can take it for what it is.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
What about if you were going to go away for like 3 days? So if you were going to take a 3-day weekend, where would you go?
You could go over to Guadalajara. Tonalá is a little town right next to it that they do all the actual artistry work on glass works and all the different things. And that's where they're trucked over here and then sold for double to 3 times the price. So, I mean, you go over there and you can watch them make it in their house. It starts out with a father making one thing, and then the mother makes another, and then the son paints it, and pretty soon it's out front for sale. So you see a lot of that, and that's a neat one. Guadalajara is good sized city. Go over see the churches and the main center there. So it's a nice trip for a couple days.
Yeah.
A lot of people go up into the mountains. The San Sebastian, I think it's called. They go up there, but they get up there and they look around and go, "Oh, okay, that's all."
It's kind of tiny.
So that's pretty quick, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, if you blink, you'll miss it. So no, but it's a cute little place to turn around, to walk around, and and if you are a photographer, it's got some great opportunities up there for sure.
Yeah.
And if you like raicilla, they got some raicilla up there too.
Oh,
I'm telling
jet
you.
fuel.
I'm telling you, not bad. Because you serve breakfast and lunch and dinner here, I'm not going to ask you what your favorite breakfast, lunch, and dinner places are, but I'm going to ask you if you have a favorite, maybe one favorite hole-in-the-wall place that you would either breakfast, lunch, or dinner at that you would normally just walk by, but it's just that good.
There used to be a lot more of those. Not as many. But you still have a couple. One for tacos that is pastor with a pineapple, and it's delicious. There's one. Their waiting line, though, now is about 15, 20 minutes. So it gets to be a little while to get into them.
Yeah.
There's always, if you want a real decadent breakfast, I mean, you go to Freddy's. I mean, he's got probably one of the best in town. If you want pancakes with whipped cream and fruit and nuts and that type of thing. You know, we're more of the standard, the basics, not as fancy as his.
No, and I don't want to talk about that either. I just wanted to see if there was a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite coffee place?
My balcony.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair
I
enough.
live on the river, and unfortunately, it's hard right now because the
Yeah,
bridge to my house just washed out.
Yeah, tell us about that. Which bridge is that?
It's up in Buenos Aires, and it's a big suspension bridge with wood slats. And it wasn't raining at all about 5 in the morning about 2 weeks ago, and I heard just a loud roar, and I looked out and expected to see rain, and there wasn't any, and all of a sudden the river jumped up about 8 feet high.
Whoa.
It was raining up in the mountains, and it washed a car off the street, under the bridge, caught the bridge, and ripped the bridge out.
Oh, wow.
And it was all within about 2 minutes.
Wow.
So now it's going to probably take...
Did you witness that? Did you witness that? Where was your camera?
Yeah, at 5 in the morning, it's kind of dark. You're kind of looking, and it's starting to show up, and then all of a sudden you see pictures later that somebody had where they showed it stuck underneath a tree, the car. And the water's going over. All you can see is the back tire.
Wow.
So you kind of realize what you had witnessed earlier.
Yeah. Wow. That must have been crazy. Yeah. And so what did they say about that bridge? They say they're going to be fixing it? What do you think?
Well, nobody's been looking at it, but fortunately I have a neighbor that works downtown, and her comment the other day was they're going to put a temporary bridge in and then work on replacing it.
Okay.
Because a lot of kids go across it because the schools are right across the street.
Yeah, that must be a real disadvantage now for them. They got to really figure that out quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we get everything across that bridge. I mean, gas, water, everything.
Oh, wow. So if you run out of gas, you're going to have to hand carry that stuff, huh?
Yeah, and that's on a little donkey trail. This doesn't work.
Oh, wow.
So
okay. So that's dire.
Yeah.
You need a helicopter, something like that, to drop stuff to you.
A helipad.
Yeah, that's what you need. Man, all right. Well, we'll be thinking about you for the next couple of weeks, months, days, however long it takes, years, however long it takes to put that in. When you opened up this place, did you experience any difficulties in like getting permits or doing the things that you needed to do to run a business?
Not especially, because I had a little bit of advantage as far as the construction. My friend was my maestro, which is like a contractor. He is from here, born and raised here, so he knew everybody and when to do what. And my ex-wife is Mexican, so she helped out a lot.
Yeah, that does help a lot.
From the Valley, I don't speak much Spanish.
No. She gave you a little bit of
I
cred,
should,
a little street
but-
cred there, didn't she? That's it. Yeah, you should, by the way. I mean, I am from the Valley, too, and, I do speak the Spanish, so there. Okay. All right. I'm kidding. I won't bag on you there. So you're on Imadero, and now they've started with these new CNG buses and stuff like that. Have you found that that's nice and much quieter now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They are.
yeah,
A
cleaner.
lot more comfortable, cleaner. The only thing that they used to give you change, and now it's definitely make sure you have the right amount. Otherwise, they won't let you ride, or you pay too much, so they won't
Okay.
give you change.
Yeah, so you need to come in with a 10 peso piece of coin.
Yep.
No more bills, no more change.
I think a bill, but if you're doing it for two people, like a 20 peso will cover two people. But I've seen one take the bill, but
Okay,
most
so
of
they-
it's just change. It can be a 10, 2 5s, whatever denomination for 10 that you need.
Okay,
So
just as long as you've got the change. Otherwise, you're overpaying.
Yeah.
And I like that. You said you have a wife. Do you have did you have a wife and kids that were down here, or no?
no, actually, I was in Modesto, California, and that's where I met my wife at that time. She was working at a Mexican restaurant, and it was one of those things. And now we have a daughter that's 14 and bilingual, and she's an American, but she's also dual citizenship. So,
And so is she living here?
yeah, she lives with me.
So how are the schools here?
Oh, fantastic. She's in a bilingual school on the honor roll, English and Spanish, and doing just fantastic. And there's no way that we would have got that type of education up there.
Yeah. So you feel that she's getting a better education than she would have up in Modesto or wherever? Yeah.
A couple of people I heard from her same school. One received a scholarship to MIT. So I mean, they do pull from that school all over, and there's some others too. But that's the only one that jumps to mind.
Are they expensive?
Not bad. To a lot of the people here, you're probably more the middle class, a little middle upper, to afford it, or foreign like me.
Right. Yeah.
Then it's cheap.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, every year it goes up. The older they get, the more it costs. But it's just a good overall school. It's very entertaining, and as far as what they do for the kids, there's not many sports, so they do a lot of theater and different things to that effect. She was learning Spanish, English, and French for a while, but then that teacher moved on, and so they lost that portion. But
Right.
still, Spanish and English, very good.
Excellent. And by the way, who uses French anymore? Can we ask that question?
I don't know.
I don't know
I took
either.
it in school in California for a year and 3/4 and walked out of the class. That was it. Never used it in my life.
Yeah.
I think somewhere in Canada they do.
Somewhere. I think, there is this province up there in Canada. All right. Now, am I missing anything? Is there anything that I haven't talked about that you wanna cover?
Our bar and restaurant is just very comfortable, very safe. I have many people that live here, women, that will come in on their own and come to have a drink or to eat, and they see friends and they'll be talking with them. So it's not where you have to be escorted either way. You can be male or female, but I do have both coming in. We have families come in. We have a patio area where you could sit out with, your dog if you happen to have a, small dog that you carry with you. So we're pet friendly, kids friendly, not to where it's a playground, but it's an adult playground. But
Yeah.
we do allow a little bit of everything. So a lot less rules as up north.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why we're down
That's-
here.
exactly.
Larry, how do they find you here? Where are you on Facebook? Are you on the interwebs?
We're on Facebook, and we have a website, Gringo Loco Cantina PV. We're mostly it's by word of mouth. So a lot of people know us. What we are in downtown Francisco Madero and Aguacate. So it's real easy to find, and
Yeah. So come on down and see
come on
him,
down.
right? That's how you do this. All right. Well, very good. I'm going to have a picture of Larry. I'm going to have a picture of the surfer dude in the show notes. And you can find that at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. And I'll have pictures of the inside of Gringo Loco, so you can see that it's a cool little place. It's a great neighborhood bar. And
Clean bathrooms, too.
Clean bathrooms. And, a surfer behind the bar. And what else can I say other than it's been great to have a chance to interview you and to introduce you and Gringo Loco to my listeners. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
All righty. Thank you, Larry. Thanks so much. I have pictures, I have maps, directions, websites, Facebook links, you name it. All this stuff will take you to this little cantina, smack dab in the middle of the Emiliano Zapata neighborhood of Puerto Vallarta, Gringo Loco Cantina. All right, well, that should do it for this week. Next week, stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with travel tips, great restaurant excursion ideas, and more. But until then, remember that this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and your suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. If you think of something that I should be talking about, well, please reach out to me and click on the Contact Us tab and send us a message. And remember, if you're considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, you know where to go. You go to vallartainfo.com, that's JR's website, and reserve your tour through him, please, right from his website. Remember, this is a value-for-value proposition, by the way. If you want to reserve that Rhythms of the Night, he does Rhythms of the Night. Make sure that you reserve it through JR. And remember that he has experience, on-the-ground knowledge of everything Puerto Vallarta. And for that, in exchange, you will be making a purchase of a tour that you would do anyway. You're just doing it through him as a way of saying thank you. Thanks, JR, for being our guide. It costs no more than if you were using someone else. So do it, really. And when you do take one of those tours, email me about your experiences. Maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. Again, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending off a message. Don't forget, he's got his maps, his DIY tours, his revitalized happy hour board, and more. And I have links to all of those in the show notes. And once again, if you like this podcast, take some time and recommend it to a friend, somebody who just might love Puerto Vallarta. That way we can get the word out to more and more people about the magic of this place. And remember, I made it easy for you to do that at every episode that I create. But if you haven't been to my website, you can go there, you have to have a look. I have links to the places that we talk about, interesting pictures and more, all right there in the blog post and the show notes for each episode of the show. So check them out for sure if you haven't already. All right? All right. Hey, thank you, Larry Voigt from Gringo Loco. Like their Facebook page, follow them. Keep informed as to what specials they're having there and opening up. Maybe learn a little Spanish, right? Stop in, have a drink, have a bite to eat, and enjoy yourself in Puerto Vallarta. And thank you, Carlos, from Census of Mexico, Puerto Vallarta. I have links to that promotion, once again, in the show notes. And thanks to all of you for listening all the way through this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. This is Barry Kessler, signing off with a wish for you to slow down, be kind, and live the Vallarta lifestyle. Nos vemos, amigos.
Puerto Vallarta.